Hey, what's up, Plastic Addicts? We're back. Just gonna wave my hands around and make sure everything is working properly. No warnings, no problems. That looks good. Generally, it's YouTube that causes the problem anyway, if it flashes some warnings. So, hey, anyone who's here, welcome back or welcome here if it's your first time. Excuse me. So last week I decided to switch gears and move from the Millennium Falcon to this Bandai X-Wing. The intent to make something a bit lighter, a bit easier to build, a little bit repetitious, or a little bit less repetitious, excuse me. And this goes together quite well, although I missed a piece there. So we'll pop that on. But basically half the ship is built. And these S-foils are decent. They'll lock into the hull. And they clip together when not in use. The first one I did didn't go together. Or went together fine, but there was a little warpage in one of the wings, and they don't want to stay clipped together. But this was back from 2018 from Force Awakens, and this is a slightly retooled version, so it's a little bit better. And oh, hey Eric, how's the thanks for dropping by. Did you end up going on Wednesday? I didn't, because of the fog. I was like, I don't want to deal with that silliness. Also, if you can just kind of give me a thumbs up if the sound is okay. It's something I'm always worried about. Anyway, so this part is done. Landing gear will go here or not. There's covers depending on what I have to do. But let's go ahead and open up the box. Set it down there. We got our instructions. And we got our sprues. Excellent, thank you. Yeah, okay. And it looks like we can start moving on to the main body. There's a piece I need to find, though. That little white insert piece that I had, let me get this right side up, that I had missed. I wonder if it's part of these instructions or further back. Well, you know what? We're actually not going to worry about it too much. B-22. A whole lot. Because we can always come back to these things. But, here we go. This is the guy I missed last time. For this camera here, I want to say I'm really, really impressed. I'm actually shooting on I use my iPhone for half my shooting. And the ultra wide has an amazing focus area. Like, this is, sorry, I'm gonna get that out of the way. That's an inch from the camera lens. So it is kind of my my go-to for shooting with. It's really, really good. Now, unfortunately, I'm using the OBS app because I cannot seem to get OBS to connect to just the regular camera. Anyway. It looks like everything seems to be flowing properly. And, it was just a little bit irritating because I had tested everything the night before to make sure, but there was a bitrate issue and a screen size issue that YouTube in particular wasn't happy about. Although Twitch seemed to be okay with it. Build Night. Yeah, maybe we'll check that out. Okay, so here's one of my issues with the IPMS. Sorry, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, do I have 2 sets of wings? I see what they did. I got 2 sets of wings. Anyway, the presentations are good. The first one I went to was back in October, and that's, I cannot remember his name, but he did the presentation about the vinyl cutter, and it was excellent, and kind of gave me the bump to get a vinyl cutter. So I was really impressed with that. But by and large, I mean, the venue's fine, but I can't hear. It's 2 things. Without a mic, I have trouble hearing what they're saying because of the acoustics of the room, but also because there tends to be a lot of other conversations going on while people are presenting. So I'm not a big fan of that. So maybe build nights are a bit more mixy-mingly. Although I'm working on setting something up at Hobby Center with Bill. So far we're calling it Sci-Fi After Dark, Sci-Fi Models After Dark. We haven't, it's kind of a working title. But gonna do that starting in April, I think. Okay, let's go ahead. And let's find sprue A. I love how they're always so well labeled. Thank you, Bandai. And so we want A11 and A25. A11 and A25 is the seat. Hello, Aaron, over on Twitch. My wife, who's also a streamer, has jumped on to say hello, and who helped me with a lot of the tech issues on this, because I don't... I'm fine with this. I'm not so good with this. Anyway, so she encouraged me to do streaming, and then once I finally decided to take the leap, there's still the issue of making it all work. And I think this is the 4th or 5th stream, and it has been it's been a long road getting from there to here. Okay, we went 26 and 28. So this is a very, very comprehensive cockpit for something so small. Now, I'm not an airplane modeler, but I do believe it's kind of the same thing, depending on the manufacturer. They pack a lot of stuff in. So when you look at an old MPC kit, you know, it's kind of a, like, it's my whole thing I've complained about before, North American manufacturers just kind of cheaping out on things. That one, yeah, playing with Bill, it's, because Bill over at Hobby Center already hosts. He does 2 car nights and a Gundam night. But he was kind of looking for something a little different. We were talking about, you know, yeah, sci-fi is a small niche, but we'll give it a try. And it's not going to be structured like IPM. It'll be elements of, but it's not like a structured night. The intent is for people to meet and mingle. So Bill's got some space, we'll set up some tables for display. and we'll set up some tables if people want to build. But the intent is that people can come and do what they want, and then mix and mingle in a we call it light structure, not heavy structure, light structure. This is what I love about this. Like, look at this. This is great. You got 2 plugs and a slot. 2 plugs and a slot. Now, I really should be painting this stuff, but this is kind of meant to be a fast build, and just look at an overview. What day would it be in? Right now we're looking at the week opposite. So, you know, IPMS is the first Wednesday of the month. And so we're looking at moving to, what do we say, the 11th? Is that a Friday? Right now, the second week of the month, just because we kind of got to fit it between the other things Bill's hosting. There's that, and this guy goes like so. Look at this. Look at all that. Oh, the targeting computer up there, and all this detail that NPC couldn't put into their kits in the past. It's unfortunate. So, I mean, I know why people are always like, oh, it's not Bandai. I'm like, yeah, because Bandai's awesome. Yeah, IPMS is a weird one. My feeling is overall it's not super warm and friendly. There's a few people, but generally speaking, it seems to me that, you know, people jump in and then they go to their corner and then that's it. And we're looking at something a bit more social, so people with similar interests can connect. But we're still working it out, and I mean, the plan right now is we'll do a handful and mix and match it to see what works, and then go from there. It's a bit experimental because, I mean, the truth is we don't expect huge turnouts. So the intent is to, sorry, give me a second here, C14, C13, 15, 14, there we go. You know, we need to cast a wide net, and the intent is to, you know, appeal to, like, yeah, there's already the Gundam build night, but appeal to the Gundams and even tabletop gamers like Warhammer. You know, that is Warhammer Battletech. It all has sci-fi lore as part of what it is. So that's what we're looking at. So details to follow. We're kind of focused on, I'm going to go work Heritage Con with them. And that's the weekend of the 23rd, 24th. So, you know, kind of not thinking too much about other things until that's out of the way. Like, here's the thing, we've talked about it. I've, you know, come back to the whole IPMS thing that I'm having a conversation with Scale Modeler Eric, excuse me. The Ottawa IPMS meetings. You know, there was I've talked to a couple of people who seem nice, but, you know, they come and talk. But generally speaking, like, even, okay, so the way it's set up is for the first hour from 6 to 7, you can eat and talk to people and be merry. But the setup at the venue once again, isn't ideal for that. So you can go meet the people you already know. And a couple people have introduced themselves. Like Eric. Eric had found me online, and actually I ran into him at... before I even joined IPMS, I ran into him at... Jesus, not Hobby Center. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. The one downtown. Hobby House. And he actually recognized me. But... Eric is also an avid sci-fi model builder who does live, so you should check out his channel. Anyone who's and I don't know, Hobby House. I don't know if Eric has moved into producing videos, but go check out his channel. Do it. Oh goodness. My man Otaka Builder's back, and he gifted a membership. Well, thank you to that, and just fly. Enjoy the gift from my other man, Otaka Builder, who is currently building a Voyager, the 670 Revell Voyager, and the Otaka, if you're there, you really need to jump in and speak up to explain how you build so fast while also being worked to the bone at Amazon and having a small family. Because I'm slow. I'm glacial compared to you. And jump back to it. Scale Modeler Eric is also on Instagram and Facebook, and I believe that is your handle across all the platforms, right? A24. Let's get this pilot. So part of the reason, so I'm not gluing this together because it is, it's not even pressure. It's not snap fit. It's pressure fit. So all this could come back apart very, very easily. Because I see right now, I'm just throwing the cockpit together. A27 right here. So I could go back afterwards and do painting if I chose. Part of the reason I'm just throwing this together is because I don't have a plan for it yet. But these little 172s are very, very good for dioramas, so I may take it apart and do... Whether any of this may be crashed, I don't know yet. We'll see, but this also does come with in the decal sheet, the whole cockpit's basically covered. But yeah, so it's pretty bland in there right now. No detail. Because I haven't decided what's going to be the long-term plan with this yet. So we're going to just do the basics, just do an assembly. Yes, James. Sorry, pardon me. Yes, Otaku. Thank you for gifting the membership. And Just Fly, thanks for being here and checking things out as I learn how to stream and try to make things as interesting as possible. Okay, we're on to not here. Welcome to Sprue E. God, the multi-piece of this is just so awesome. E2. Speaking of, since Otaku has gifted a membership, I also want to give a shout out to people who joined last week, some on their own, some by gift, and of course Aaron Marshall, who supports me endlessly and puts up with my bullshit, James Hall, Hobby Time, Alex McElhenney, Mick L. Hinney, I may have said that wrong, I apologize, Sean Sherrod, Brian Harris, Heavy Metal, and Julio Vallejo. Thanks for showing support, so I can keep doing this. And we're looking for D, A, B. I feel like this is D. Here we are. So I feel like I'm going to have partial parts for another X-Wing once all is said and done. Based on what I'm seeing here. It's not a 2-in-1, but there's a lot of duplicate pieces. And the feeling is that this is clearly an addition. Some sprues are addition. But as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I've got pieces, like I've got the main pieces for a whole other set of S-foils and engines. But not all the engine pieces. Because there's not duplicates for everything. So those will go into the box of spare parts. Alright, so we'll get that on. There's that. And this guy goes in here. So give us a little scratch there. Yeah, I said I cannot get over just how awesome this is. Plug and port, slots, and receivers. So yeah, if you skip the gluing stage, you could take this all apart again and tackle things you maybe didn't before. Okay. Looking for E10 and D5. D and E. E10. A satisfying snap. Just kind of scraping off sprue excess. There's that. And D5. So this one right here. Just come back to what something Eric said earlier, is that we might be the only two doing sci-fi at IPMS, but don't forget Tim. Don't forget Tim Utton, and I think the last president did sci-fi. I remember there being a 3D printed something there a couple times ago. I wish I could remember what it was. It was impressive when I was looking at it. Okay. So we have this in this alignment. And then this. Okay. And then we'll do the other side. So this comes pre-colored with pieces to do. The white and green layout. Or, based on what I see here, from these other sprue pieces, you could just do a white build. Although these came colored, they might be missing. Nope, they're right there. So this is just this model. The Resistance X-Wing is reboxed with additional pieces. Okay, I see what they did there. If you saw his post, Tim is working on something else now. Something he's been working on for a while. He's just getting to it with his slow turnaround on videos. I don't know what the next subject is, though. But same thing, I found, you know, Eric, you had found me before I found you on either YouTube or Instagram. And you recognized me when we were both at the store. With Tim, I'd found him on YouTube, and then realized we're both on HobbyLink International. So that's where I had connected with him. There we go. Okay. So now we have some pieces that can go together. That guy looks like goes in there. Did I do that right? Give me a second. Oh, up there. Up there, that's why. Okay, yeah, we got slots and receivers there. Good work, Bandai. Oh, although I don't like that fit very well. Well, I said they're pretty good. They're not perfect. I get a little gap there. There we go. Yeah, just getting everything pressed in to the right depth. But same thing. I mean, when you look at this, the nose piece can hold this together, but you know, your joints do follow panel lines, so great job, y'all. Yeah, these guys go together. Same thing, get this in the right place. And sorry, just looking to see that these guys are looking good. I'm not liking that. Or that. There we go, that might make a difference. Let's try that. Look at that. Much better. So if something's looking a little off, just kind of take your time, go back, give it a really good look. Because the angles don't always show off what you need to see. But yeah, there we go. Oh, excuse me. A little trick here. Okay. So we've done the top of the page. Now we can start putting some inserts in and then drop in the S-foils. As I said, this goes very, very fast. I only spent an hour and 15 minutes in the last stream putting the S-foils together. So if you're looking for a quick build, once again, depending on what your needs and what your plans are, I said these are the way to go. Because you can, with the pre-detailed aspect, you can knock them together very, very quickly. but there's a ton of options for detailing. And for lighting too, I missed it because I didn't go to the IPMS meeting, but Eric was going to bring the PE set for me to take a look at. Was that the green strawberry or the paragraphics, if you're still there? E8. And A35. Let's find it here, 35. Okay, yeah, green strawberry. Look, I imagine it's good, although I will tell you, I'm working with their parts for the Enterprise D right now, and there's a number of spots I am not impressed with, which is unusual because their product quality is usually top-notch, but I'm running into things that never should have been missed. Okay, there's that. Just getting rid of this extra stuff from trimming the pieces. And there we go. So this is forwardmost. Pull that back in because I have an issue of... There we go. There we are. There are some pieces that do give you that that healthy snap. There's that. And then this. And the nose. Part 16. I said this may be a fairly quick stream, but I got some other things to talk about. Because I want to save the weathering as a whole other, as its very own topic. So if this goes together fast today, then we'll do next week, do weather it up. So when you say original, Dan, are you talking about this one from 2018? The Resistance versus the, I guess, Republic? Or the OG one? As Eric is talking about, that he's got the photo etch for the T65. Because if you're talking about the T65, I haven't done that yet, but I have it. Alright, I'll get this guy in. Okay. And then we can drop the wings in. First. Okay. Sorry. Spacing on this, yeah. Okay. So, same thing. We've got the 4 receivers. And there we are. There we go. Now you're clipped in. Alright, there's that. So D6 and C5. Okay, yeah, the T65 I haven't done, but I will be doing a number of T65s. So, sorry about that. Let me just move this side. So this is the old MPC one, the small MPC one that I had done. This is not a great model, but you know, we're able to make it look okay. But I have, in the T65, I have the Bandai, which is the small 72 scale. We got a 48 scale, fine molds, a 43 scale Revell, the bigger version of this, and the 29 scale from Revell. So I kind of have a plan to build those and do some comparisons. The 129 one is to match the 32 scale TIE Fighter that I have. So we have some plans for some photography and maybe videography. But to answer your question, my assumption is, unless someone's already done it in the chat, that the Luke Skywalker Red Squadron T65, whatever version by Bandai is going to be, construction is going to be fundamentally the same. Easy to go together, everything's labeled, nice and smooth fit. That's going to be my assumption. Sean, thank you for, this was a, excuse me, you can actually watch the video on my channel proper for the build of this. And you know what, this thing isn't terrible. It's a fun build. It's not great. Like, look at the wings. Like, come on. This is the best you could do, guys. Like, come on. But do a basic paint job. The new decals mean less detailing. Then throw some weathering on. This is basic weathering. This is just a bit of a wash and some pastels. So it's more dirty than anything, and that hides a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's okay. Obviously, it's nothing compared to these guys, just in the way of fit and finish. Okay, so for PJC, why aren't you using a glue to glue the parts into place so it doesn't break apart? So this is technically a snap model, but it's more pressure fit. However they've designed it, the pegs and slots go together in such a way that it's a really, really, really strong fit, but you could take things off or back apart as necessary. So, could I use glue? Absolutely. But part of the purpose of this using this as the stream is just to, hey, let's spend a couple hours building this, and you can see just how well these things go together with very little effort. Now, which makes them particularly good for new builders. When you're done, though, it still ends up looking kind of like a toy because the pre-colored plastic and whatnot. But just like this one, you can then take this and give it personality with weathering and rusting and whatnot. So the intent with this is, here's a basic build. Look how good Bandai goes together. Highly recommended. If it was a few years ago, it'd be harder to recommend because the price points were so different between North American and Japanese. Is Bandai Asian, South Asian manufacturer? But you can easily step this up as a more advanced modeler. So the plan here was like, let's just do a basic build, then we're going to weather it to bring it to life. And this may end up being used in a diorama. I'm still deciding that. So part of the reason I haven't put as much effort in is because I don't have a plan for it yet. This is just more of a topic for build, which would lead to conversation. Yeah, the Bandai you're building is the same. Okay, yeah. So, basically, so this one was The Force Awakens that came out in 2017, 2018. And this one came out whenever, sometime after Rise of Skywalker. Now that I'm looking at these parts, these are the same model, but Bandai retooled sections of it with this pre-colored plastic. So then you can just snap it all together. Because, as we're going to find out, I mentioned this a couple times already, I've got S-foil assemblies. Like, I got all these extra parts. Why do I have these extra parts? Because they retooled it, but they left all the old stuff on the sprues, which I imagine was just from a pressing and manufacturing standpoint much easier. Anyway, I hope I answered those questions correctly. All right. Let's get this guy out. One of the things in my stash I'm looking forward to is the Razor Crest. I'd watched Mandalorian when it first came out. I'm like, I liked it. Yeah, it's fine. I enjoyed it. Didn't have any strong feelings one way or the other. I tried to watch Andor. It took me 3 times to get into Andor. Everyone's like, this is so good. This is the best Star Wars ever. And the first 2 times I fell asleep during the first episode. And I was kind of like, I just can't get into this. I watched Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, which were fine. They're kind of boring. Boring's not the right word. They're just slow and kind of like, here's some Star Wars content. There's good things about it. I mean, the showdown between Obi-Wan and Anakin, when he finally accepts that Anakin is gone, that was good. But they weren't really super inspiring. And I think that carried over into my feelings on Andor. But then I watched Skeleton Crew. And it kind of fired me up isn't the right word. But it was a fun adventure. And we know that it was inspired by Goonies and, things from the 80s that, well, some of us grew up with. But that whole, the adventure in your own backyard element to it. And it was fun. And that was what kind of pushed me to give Andor a try again. And then I think I consumed it in about a week. So I'm very much looking forward to Season 2. And I did rewatch Rogue One after that. And Rogue One is automatically a better movie, having watched Season 1 of Andor, to say nothing of Season 2. That context matters. Anyway, so that's my my thoughts on that. What are we looking for? We're looking for A29. Am I on the right sprue? I may not be. Here we are. A29. Alright. And that one cut pretty clean. So yeah, PJC, if you're still there, I don't know if you saw this earlier, the design on these is really, really good. And that's why I say pressure fit, not snap fit. You have a different series of basically pegs and posts and receivers. Now they're different designs. Sometimes you got cross pieces, but basically this is it: slots and pegs. And the tolerance is in such a way that you can just press them in, and that friction fit holds them in place. Like, I've never had, pieces fall off. The TIE Fighters, the pegs for the panels could be better. But, yeah, that's kind of my feelings on that. It's, like I said, it's exceptionally well. She holds together. So take some abuse. Okay, who is next? Let's start working on that rear equipment bay. 2 pieces, C7 and C8. Okay. Now let's see how we did there. Yeah, Dan, these have suddenly become, in the last year or so, became more available here. I'm in Ottawa. Now, I want to say we're very spoiled in Ottawa as far as hobby shops. There are 5 that do plastic models, and there are multiple others that do hobbies outside of plastic models. And that's not to say nothing. I think there's one across the river in Gatineau, which is, another 5-10 minutes away. But there's also a store called Toys on Fire that carries model kits as well. And they've got a fairly good Bandai selection. Bill at Hobby Center, he had a big selection of these Bandais. It is whittled down somewhat. So I've been able to get some in the store. I actually got this one from the comic book shop. I ducked in one day when I was waiting for... I took Dad to an appointment. So I drove down over there to check it out to see what they have. And this was the only Bandai one they had in stock, and I'm like, oh, that'll be perfect for a live stream. So am I spoiled? Yes. Dan, you're in the UK, right? Yeah, I'm surprised that there isn't more option for y'all there. What I'm looking for, D7. Anyway, so I've been spoiled with fairly good availability. Now, I've also learned, though, over time, if you see something you might want, you better buy it. You better buy it when you see it, because when you go back, it will not be there. Then you have to find it. Although, I've been using eBay a lot lately. Okay, so I use a combination of Facebook Marketplace, where I get a lot of good finds. But I've been using eBay more and more, and it has led to a number of interesting finds as well. So I would say, if you have access to Marketplace, just do searches, Star Trek models, Star Wars models, and you would be surprised what might come up. Or, once again, I'm just lucky. There's a lot of stuff out of Toronto that I don't have access to because I don't want to drive that far and they don't want to ship. And I'm like, that's fair. All right, I'll put this rear equipment panel in here. Okay, yeah, no, I mean, like, I get you. PJC, regarding using glue. Some of this may be coming back apart depending on my plans. But yeah, if I was doing something as a commission or for photography and video, it would be a different story. if I need more permanence, depending on the depending on the plans for it. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I found on eBay just a bunch of stuff. I got, what am I trying to say? Let me try that again. MPC A-Wing and MPC Y-Wing. Because I have all the Bandai kits. But I've built, as I said, this guy, the MPC X-Wing. I built the MPC B-Wing. So I'm going to do a whole series where I build the ones, then I build the others, and then I'll have a, basically follow-up videos. Here's a direct comparison. What's objectively, not subjectively, what's objectively good and bad about one compared to the other. Because, yeah, the MPC ones, in relative terms, kind of suck compared to Bandai. But they have a charm. Nostalgia is important. Now, of course, that's subjective, not objective. But you don't want to discount it because each model offers something, and there are people who just like to customize, so something that's a little less perfect than this is a viable option. You like scratch building, you like designing and printing 3D parts? Yeah. So yeah, and that all came out of that whole, I just got sick of, it's not Bandai. In my comments, it's not Bandai. I'm like, you can't compare them. I mean, I'm going to, but you can't. Because what they offer and what the builder wants are somewhat intangible. Okay, we got a droid here. Oh yeah, I was saying, so I kind of got sidetracked. I watched Mandalorian again, and it was better the second time around. And I have a Razor Crest I want to do, and I'm going to try something. Instead of using bare metal foil or things like that, I'm going to... I got this aluminum, the Vallejo metal color. Aluminum may not be the exact right color, but it is based off of polished... it's based off the A-10 Warhog for the big engines, but the hull was kind of inspired by the polished aluminum on World War II aircraft when they stopped doing the... or reduced the amount of olive drab. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to clear coat it, and I'm going to buff it. And I'm going to see if I can get the shine that way instead of using bare metal foil. And the good thing is, if it doesn't work, I can just strip it, then put bare metal foil on. But part of this for me is experimenting and trying new things. And, improving your skills one way or the other. So, almost no idea is too crazy. Second here. Sorry, let me get caught up. Sorry, guys, let me get caught up on the chat. Sean was like the fact that I had to make things fit and fill gaps, etc. That was part of the fun for me. Yeah, I get it. It's I'm with you. Although I hate sanding. I hate sanding so much. But there's a problem. I mean, look at. The kit can't be impossible to put together. That's not fun. But, sometimes you need a challenge because, let's face it, not everyone has the opportunity to just do this. I mean, I still have a day job that I need. I would very much like this to be my sole income, and I'm actually working on developing a store of hobby supply products. Very, very early planning stages. So let's be clear about that. I've got a bunch of LEDs coming in to test before I place a more serious order. But with everything going on, I don't love having to get everything from the US. And what I mean by that is political issues aside, so I don't want to get into that here. I am tired of waiting for shipping. I am tired of what fees am I going to get at the door because of the ridiculously low de minimis coming into Canada versus going to the U.S. And if there is a Canadian supplier of component LEDs, of aftermarket decals for sci-fi, of photo etch and things like that for sci-fi, I don't know of it. I've searched. Now I'm not always not the best. Pardon me. I'm not the best Google searcher, but it's something I'm looking to get into. Anyway, that little aside there, Sean. But yes, the ability to be creative and problem solve is important because you may not get that in your normal everyday life as a worker in this capitalist dystopia we live in. So if you're getting something from it, something that is feeding your soul, then you keep on doing that, my man. I just got the old 80s Godzilla kit and old testers. Oh, yeah, well, that's the thing. The things you can find on eBay. Like, I found Facebook Marketplace is good for, like, kind of general stuff, and every now and again you find something interesting. But eBay is kind of the really good source for that weird, obscure stuff. And, yeah, I actually found the 1998 Lost in Space Jupiter 2 in Ottawa. I got it for $40. But it's missing the decals, which kind of sucks. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look, because I just finished watching Jupiter 2, Lost in Space on Netflix. I'm like, this is... Season 2 and 3 are bang, 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 bang. Like, just really good pacing. So I kind of went through that. I'm like, so I got a bit of an interest in Lost in Space, so I found the robot from the movie, not the current show. And when I looked, it was like $40. Then it popped up on my feed as being like 50%. It was like $17 out of BC. So not only is it Canadian, so I was able to just ship it across the country, but a smoking deal on it. So yeah, like, don't be afraid to browse eBay because you never know what you're going to find. Okay, so PJC, the window masks are available. They're actually, I have an Etsy store, or you can just message me direct, and because I made them a little bit more expensive on Etsy just because of costs, but directly through me, they're $24.95 Canadian, and then whatever the shipping cost is. If you're in the U.S., tracked shipping is like $20. If I ship overseas, I don't do tracking because it's ridiculously expensive. I mean, I offer it, but no one takes it because of that. But I am working on... This is the commission I'm working on, so I'm finally using my own masks on my own model. And I did test them before I sent them out. And you can use these without doing light blocking on the inside. You can prime over these, but we're talking like 7 or 8 light coats. And here's the thing with these masks, do not use a heat gun to speed up the paint drying process, because it'll affect what little bit of glue is on these little tiny masks, and then you'll get paint bleed. So you got to do it the old low and slow way. But I'm testing something on this one. I'm going to clear coat this before priming it, because the clear coat will seal them and prevent paint bleed. And if the clear coat bleeds under them, it doesn't matter because it's clear. And then I can do my primer over it, and that should solve the problem of worrying about paint bleed. Also, I commissioned Sophie Rose Models to create a fantail piece to run fiber optics for these 4 lights on the back. And as you can see, it's a hollowed piece. So you trim that out, pop that in, and then you can run your fibers through. No trenching here, because puck that. Sorry, I get talking. I kind of lose track of things. Okay. Yeah, Sean, I'm still finding a supplier has been difficult, so I end up placing a bunch of orders through AliExpress to test things, and from there I can get suppliers' names and go from there. Okay, so see, here's the thing. What you just said about the resistors. I hate that. I really, really hate it. But I've run everything in series, so if one circuit fails, it doesn't take everything out. But I'm looking at... Because here's the problem. I'm running a 9 or 12 volt power source, which means I need a lot of resistors to step down these lights. So what I'm looking at is switching over to lower voltage power sources. And there's a couple ways around that. Because most LEDs are in the 3 volt range, okay? So if I can get a low power supply and run as many LEDs without resistors as possible, that'll save a lot of space and a lot of headache. Now I can't control like the reds because they run at 2 volts. You're going to need a resistor regardless of, Anyway, point is, the problem has been when doing starships, LED tape takes a lot of power, 9 volt, 12 volt. So there's a couple options for that. There's a power converter to step it up from 3 volt or 4.5 volt up to the 9 or 12 volt. Or the thing I'm waiting to get and test is Edison strips, Edison diodes. It's basically LED tape without the tape. And the ones I got run on 3 volts, so it's a question of intensity. So once I get that stuff and test that stuff, but yeah, too many resistors is a pain. I hate it. I really, really hate it. So I'm looking at how, one, I need to test on my own, so I can't sell something without having tested it. But looking at running models with much, much lower voltage power supplies to reduce the amount of resistors required, and also taking the chance of running circuits on parallel, which means I can run one resistor and power multiple bulbs. But if anything fails, it takes that whole circuit out. So these are things I'm working on, and I'm hoping I get them in time for the Enterprise D. So I did order ice blue that I want to use for the warp engines. So we're going to see. But these are things I'm working on, and this will all be stuff I do in video and whatnot to explain what and why. So if anyone decides to use it, there's a process in place of like, okay, here's what you do, here's why you do it, etc. Oh, maybe that one doesn't go there. There's a big step there. Or do they? No, you slide all the way in. Sorry. I said I get chatty and then I kind of lose track. Old AMT Enterprise from the 80s. Well, there'll only be a couple to choose from. The D, the original series, and the 537 refit. Which one do you got there, my man? Oh, I see. Whoops. Like I said, this happens when I get chatting. I miss things. I forgot about these little spacers here. C1. There we go. So yeah, the part of what I want to do with electrical is to get components. Look, it'll apply for everyone. I mean, once we get this tariff ridiculousness sorted out, I'm only going to be billing Canadian dollars, so it's a real deal for Americans. Because also the de minimis is so low going from Canada into the U.S. But I want to find a way to do electronics in as simple a way as possible. The least amount of wiring, least amount of soldering, least amount of resistoring, so that you can just build it. Now, I won't have things like boards that do light and sound and phasers and all that stuff. The intent is to keep it simple. But there's other people who will do that. But not knowing how to light is a barrier to entry. I know a lot of people have I don't know, I'm too afraid and whatnot. So okay, so let's strip it down. Let's simplify it. Use these LEDs, no resistors, just solder them together, which you can't get away from for the most part. I mean, you could twist and wrap and use heat shrink and skip soldering altogether. It is a possibility. Anyway, that's more info on that as it becomes available. Oh yeah, the old TOS. You know what? You can do some amazing stuff with that. It's you can do a lot of good things with that kit. If you decide to light it, here's my suggestion. This is something we're going to do on the Voyager. I'm going to be opening the windows, which I actually already have, filling them with clear resin. But it doesn't matter if the hole is oversized or uneven, as long as the window mask I make goes in the right position. The intent, once again, is to make things easier. So you're not good at drilling holes or cutting squares. Big deal. Just make your opening, fill it, use the window mask, and then paint a light block, and you'll be fine. You can do the same on that kit, especially with that really thin plastic. Because, I can make up paint masks for those windows. Bunch of rectangles, no problem. No, you could do some great stuff with that kit. Anyway, so I got a lot of plans. I'm just trying to get them all together, and like I said, this, while waiting for that stuff, then trying to find suppliers. But even this, just trying to sort out getting live streams that are fun and engaging, so that people want to come and watch them versus. But this is also the intent too, is where here we are, we're chatting about things. Sorry, give me a second. I need to see that. I'm not convinced I have that right. I'm trying to find a good image. Oh yeah. No, there's a little space there. So this is the other one. Just getting these guys fit properly. Because I did that thing. Haha, thanks, Eric. Look at the whole thing. It's someone complained about one of my videos before, and was putting them to sleep. And then someone else jumped in, and their comment was, I'd have to look it up, but fundamentally it was like, well, hey, this is very Bob Ross, nice and even tone, and how to do these things. And that's, there we go. So I just did that wrong. Sorry, fellas. Oh, there's a step inside there. A little hard to see. There's not enough light. These things, there is an alignment with them. There's a step inside there so that it actually goes in the right way. Ugh. Let's try that again, shall we? And here's the thing. A lot of people refer to Boyd Trekworks as the Bob Ross of hobby modeling, and I'm not looking to replace Boyd. Boyd is my friend. and I met a lot of people through his forum in the early days, and we used to chat on. Hey, this is before video chat. Like this is going back like 2013. We used to use a live voice thing called TeamSpeak. So a bunch of us would get on a couple times a week and just chat. And anyway, so like I said, I'm not trying to replace Boyd, but that even-tempered Bob Ross approach of you can do this, happy little trees and don't worry about mistakes and whatnot is kind of core to what I'm trying to do. Don't worry about messing up. You can almost always fix it. Once again, sorry guys, I apologize. I'm kind of all over the map here today. And yeah, like I said, come here, you. Let me just roll this back a little bit. I do appreciate it, Eric, more than you probably know. Oh yeah, if you've already got a vinyl printer, Sean, I'll just make you up a file. Oh, I see. Otaku's just hanging around, giving away memberships. Thank you so much, and Alan Way, thank you for being here for one, and being the recipient of Otaku's generosity. Seriously, guys, he's a good man. Go check out his stuff. Otaku Builder on all the platforms. He is. I'm gonna get softy for a minute. He is a wonderful man who I've only known through here, but yeah, he's pretty awesome, and yeah, check out his stuff, support him, and you'll pick up a lot from him too. Maybe even more than me. Okay, when talking about the Enterprise D window masks, what about paint mask for the 2-tone, 4-tone? Okay, so I am not there yet. My intent was to start, like, the truth is, the only reason I got the vinyl printer is because I'm like, I'm not picking and scraping my Enterprise D. Then I realized I could make more masks. It's kind of the base for any potential store stuff I'm doing. But check out. Sorry, guys, give me a second here. While I do this, because I think N8. Where are you? Are you in North America, or I'm guessing you're not in the UK? Mask design. Do they have? Oh yeah. Sorry guys. Bear with me. I'm just trying to find this here. Okay. I always have trouble finding this. So there is a guy out of Alberta, I believe. Mask design. Okay. Check this. But I don't think he has the D. But the stuff he does is fantastic. So, like I said, I always have trouble finding his store because it's not in here. Okay, hold on. Sorry guys, I'm still here. Mask design, Starship. Oh, good. You deleted what I typed. Mask design. Okay, but that's just the page again. Okay, so Okay, yeah, if you're over in Michigan, it'll be way easier for you. So check out Find Mask Design on Facebook. I don't think he has a store proper, but check that out. Now, I will say this. I did use the Motion Picture Manager's paint masks for the two-tone, the production series. The gray, blue-gray. Oh, yeah, Aztec. Sorry. You're right, Eric. Aztec Dummy. Because he's in the U.S. Come on. So you got two options. Aztec Dummy. Yeah, and I think his only store, you're right, is through Cult TV Man. Cult TV Man. Okay, so NB, or N8, sorry. Look up Mask Design, or try Aztec Dummy through Cult TV Man. Aztec Dummy. It'd be nice if it would just link, if there was a link to the store in here. That would be simpler. Anyway, yeah, that's they might not exist, but at the very least, do some checking. It's going to be a while before I get there, because I'm still novice. That's what I'm focusing on. But I'm also focusing on Windows just for simplicity, and Windows are always such a pain in the ass. Blah blah blah. Anyways, that's check those things, and kind of keep an eye on my channel, because if something comes up, I'm going to post about it. Because, sharing this stuff is important. Yeah. Oh yeah, Boyd's his stuff. I'm glad his stuff is still up. Oh, it might be. Because, okay, check with Aztec Dummy anyway. I mean, you might be able to find a way to reach out to him directly. Because if he's developed a set for the 650, it's got to be scalable. I mean, look at it. Doesn't hurt to ask, right? So yeah, it's gonna be a while before I'm gonna be doing full mask sets. I'm gonna be doing more simple stuff, and kind of focusing more on components as I get there. Another plan for the store is 3D files and 3D prints, depending on what people want. And I'm working with Rose Model Company on that. We've got some plans, but once again, it's just getting everything into motion. But like I said, sorry, this fantail piece, I commissioned her to make this. This is for the 4 lights on the back of the fantail of the Enterprise D. This is the 1400 scale. This is a hollow piece, so you just run the fibers right inside. It needs some revision because this is the first one that I used on mine for testing. Couple minor revisions, just the fit's fine. I would like to see these upper ones lowered just a little bit. This will be something that's available. This is the kind of the stuff we're talking about. Is, cost-effective, accurate replacement parts, because some companies make some great stuff, but it is ridiculously expensive. And if a set of parts is 3 times the cost of the model, that's not going to work. It certainly doesn't work for me. I don't know about you guys. Okay, let me keep a little sidetrack there. But keep those questions coming, folks. You know what? Let's put the landing gear on this one, because I can keep these covers and add them later if I want to. Okay, so we have functional Basically, this is made. You know? There you go. There's that. Super simple, super easy. Love these things. Like I said, lighting would be nice, but yeah, definitely need photo etch because these engines are tiny. But yeah, let's put landing gear on this instead of the covers, which I believe is going to be a different page. Yeah, there we go. And those all come from... Oh, we got this little cover for there. Yeah. Okay. C2 and C3, which I think is all this. And yeah, so I really like this because they're designed in such a way that you can swap things in and out. One thing I'd like to do, and I'm not there yet. I've got to find a someone who can do digital art. I'm working with my friend Ken, and we're going to photograph the models, and then the idea is to create composite images. Because here's what so as a commission builder, here's what I've learned. Not everyone can afford to commission a starship because, well, I'm assuming it's primarily builders in this chat. Y'all know how much work goes into these things. And look at, there's always someone who can do it cheaper. And you cannot compete with that until a customer receives a substandard product. So you're going to lose sales because of that. So my feeling is, well, let's do the build. I would do it like I always do it here. Here's what I'm building. Here's how I do it. So anyone could build along. But then create composite images that could be sold as prints because those are much more cost effective. Because regardless of your socioeconomic position, everyone deserves luxury products and things that bring them joy. So that's something where we're kind of looking at too, but I need to find someone who can do the actual art and compositing because that's not a skill I have. And that's just it. Sometimes you gotta shop things out because you can't do everything on your own. And when you try to do it all on your own, you accomplish nothing. I know a lot of people who have businesses who are they've got themselves in a position where they're so busy running it that there's no time for anything else, and they're kind of miserable and just on the treadmill. Anyway, that's so there's a number of things that are planned. It's just getting everything in place. Oh yeah, Sean. How do I get a hold of you outside of here so I can at least tell you what I'm thinking, and you can kind of let me know if things are a possibility. I actually have examples of things I would like to do. Yeah. There we are. I think I put those on the right way. Yep. And yeah, so like I said, there's a number of plans, number of things. I will have merchandise available, but I'm fucking small time. I don't expect to sell a lot of stuff, but maybe a hat or a t-shirt out there for anyone who's interested. And here we go. So this has landing gear cover openings. Yes, it does. Check this shit out. I usually don't put landing gear down because I find that these ships and aircraft look better landing gear up, but like I said, the nice thing is I can just take it back off later. Now this one I think I fucked up because I cut the pegs off too close to the... Okay. Oops. But you know what, though? We can do that. That's quite the... Yeah, look at that. I cut those. I wasn't paying attention. I cut those pegs off. So maybe we are going landing gear up. Okay, change of plans. But let's say that's what happens when I get chatty while trying to do things. So we are going to put the landing gear covers on. So slide those guys out of the way. What do we need then? I think we're back here. So you want A13. Not there. Probably here. Okay. Oh, A31. Oh, go for painting. Yeah, thank you for popping in. Where you jumped in just as I described an error I made. So good timing. I actually cut the pegs off the forward landing gear. So we won't be using those. But that's okay. Because if I do a diorama, it's either going to be crashed or in flight. So no worries. So that was 9 and 10. And so a second here. 9 and 1 and 2. Two. Okay. So this guy goes here. Just carve this forward landing gear. Maybe. There we go. There's that. And that. And we're going to grab this because I'll have to paint the canopy, but we are going to use the glass. Plastic. Okay. And just make sure. Got any excessive stuff off? There's that. We don't need those because those were if the landing gear was open. And then this actually has slots, so this needs painting. There's a decal for it. I'm not going to use the decal. I'm going to paint it, because I actually used the decal on the previous one, which, I gotta say, I was impressed is actually shaped properly. Oops. Okay, well then, what do you say we put this on a stand then, since we're going landing gear free? There's that, and then these guys. There you go. And looks like we're going to run a little long today. So, feel free to stick around for whatnot. So, yeah, I'd like to get this assembly done. So then next week we can look at decals and weathering. Although, I might split that up further. Might do decals then weathering, just to let everything settle. I don't know yet. Okay. I might have had that backwards. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oops. Whoopsie. Put that on there. So we can do that, and do that, and do this. And there we go. The basics are done. And you have a New Republic Starfighter, I guess, late New Republic Starfighter. When does Force Awakens take place relative to Empire? Because the Mandalorian and all those take place after the fall of the Empire. So they're still using T-65s, not these T-70s or 75s. Yeah, what are they... Yeah, I actually don't know off the top of my head what the time difference is between them. So if anyone has an idea, feel free to let me know. Suppose I could just look it up. Sorry, let me put this back together, then put these guys side by side. Yeah, this I like with the clear plastic canopy. It comes in two pieces, so you could do canopy up or down. And there we go. Pop that open. Maybe. Come on. Come on, you can do it. This has got better snaps than the other one. Much better. There we are. All this extra plastic out of the way. And we're not going to use the stickers, but we got lots of decals for marking. So yeah, we're going to get into this next week. So this might go into 4. Oh, good. Yeah, okay. So yeah, 30 years. Wow. Okay. Down with that. Oh, did anyone notice that Commander Hux was one of the people in the Shadow Council in the second to last episode of Season 3 of Mandalorian. I thought that was a nice little connecting tissue. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to decal this guy next week, and then maybe weathering the follow, just so we get everything on and dry and clear-coated before moving on to weathering. I think that's the way to go. And yeah, if I do a diorama, this older one that's missing that I didn't do a pilot on is probably going to be, let's say we'll do a crashed one or on fire one, because I've got 2 TIE fighters from the new, from the First Order. The regular TIE and the TIE, the one that has 2 pilots. Anyway, so that's where we stand. So this is, like I said, this is a wonderful, fun build. It just goes together very well, very fast. Because some days, take care, Eric. I will see you or chat you whenever. What am I trying to say? Nice, straightforward build. Sorry, I'm getting to the end of the stream. Kind of, my brain's flaming out. It's a wonderful kit. It's fun. It's simple. Because sometimes as a modeler, you don't want to do a 350 refit. You don't want to do a 1400 Galaxy. It takes days and days and steps and steps and steps to get done. Sometimes you want to be able to just build something and have fun building it, straightforward, that you can still make your own. And that's kind of what the idea was here. So yeah, we'll just follow the steps. Decal it next week, and then do some weathering and so make it its own. Then we'll look at all the pieces we have, this one, the TIE fighters, and maybe kind of make a plan for a future diorama. Because those Edison strips could be fun for doing laser fire. I know Boyle Hobby Time does that. He's done a number of fantastic dioramas. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We've done 2 streams, done a complete build, and I think that's getting with the end of it. I don't have anything to add. I talked a lot about plans that I'm hoping will. Oh, right on. Hey PGC, message me on directly on whatever platform you prefer. I'm on all of them, and we'll see if we can do a little bit better for you. And Sean, same thing. If you could message me somewhere, let's talk about image compositing, and I can show you some examples, and maybe we can figure out something there too. Otherwise, I want to thank you, y'all, for coming by and joining the stream and checking things out and chatting, because that's the real goal of this. Is to, we're doing some builds and there's some stuff to pick up, but this is more meant to connect on a personal level, whereas the regular videos, excuse me, they serve a purpose, which is to share my builds and the how and why. So anyone can do this if you just have some patience and creativity. And look, let's be honest, as a marketing tool, because the intent is I would like to have a little store of hobby supply products and accessories. But the plan would be like, okay, here's what I'm building. Here's what I'm using. Here's how I'm using it. If you like this, you can get it from me. And then there's a guide to go with it versus just, here's a product. Here's a product. So I have an intent there. Thank you for joining, Sean, and everyone. But yeah, I'm going to sign off now because it's... I don't have anything to add, really. But I hope you come back next week. Like I said, we'll do decals, and then we'll look into weathering. And You know what? Actually, conceivably, the decals could take up the whole stream. Like to try to keep it that hour and a half length as much as possible for consumability, and not to steal everyone's Sunday afternoon, because if it's your only time off, go enjoy it. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining. A lot of good conversations today, and I put some of my plans out into the universe. So there's that. So everyone, take care. Sorry, I forgot my usual video sign up. Take care. Keep building and enjoy the process. And I will see y'all next week or in a long form video. Take care, y'all. Let's try that.